Welcome back to the Lingua Loom. Today we're going to start another episode of the Semantics series, which is episode number 6. And the topic name is Semantic Roles. So every sentence is a tiny drama. Someone acts, something gets affected, something moves. Semantic role, also known as theta roles or thematic roles, are the cost list of that drama. Wow, this is a beautiful line that depicts the whole topic. So let's start with today's topic. So please do like, subscribe and share as well. It's very important and it encourages us to do much more. And do comment as it's important now for YouTube algorithm. So it's helpful for us to get to know that how do you feel about the lectures. So let's move on to the core idea. That is, language encodes who does what to whom. So the grammar tells us how a sentence is built, but semantics asks a deeper question. What role does each participant play in the event being described? So the question that I asked is this person the one acting or being acted upon? While other questions are moving somewhere, experiencing something. So these are the questions that are asked while assigning semantic roles that are also theta role or thematic role. So in Chomskyan generative grammar, other labels linguist gives to those participant roles. They exist beneath syntax in the semantic structure of the event itself. So this is how, as it is also the part of Chomskyan generative grammar too. So let's start with part 1, the foundation, which is every event has a cast of characters. So let's take an example. Consider the chef cuts the bread with a knife in the kitchen. While this sentence describes one event, which is cutting, but it involves multiple participants, each playing a complete different role in that event. While chef is doing something, the bread is being affected, the knife is the tool being used, the kitchen is where it happened. So this shows that one sentence, it's not just a sentence, it is made up of different participants playing different roles. Semantic roles capture exactly those distinctions. They're not about grammar. Chef is the subject and bread is an object syntactically. Well, these are syntactically, but semantic is different from it, as semantic roles go deeper. They describe the semantic relationships between the verb, which is the event, and its argument, which are the participants. This concept was developed systematically by linguist Charles Fillmore in his groundbreaking 1968 paper, which is the case for case, and further developed in generative grammar as theta roles. So this is how it works. Well, let's move. Which is the crucial insight is the same semantic role can appear in different syntactic position. As in this example, the dog bit the man, and the man was bitten by the dog. Have the same semantic role. Dog is the agent, man is the patient, but the syntax is completely different. Well, this is active voice, another one is passive voice. In this regard, it's discussed about syntax. But semantic roles are independent of syntax. So this shows this syntax can be changed, but semantic roles, they do not rely on syntax. let's move forward, which is the academic definition of semantic or thematic or theater role is that semantic roles describe the relationship between the verb and its nominal arguments. The semantic functions that participants fulfill in the event or state described by the predicate. They represent the conceptual role assigned to entities by the meaning of the verb. Well, this will take about film more and other works too. So semantic theater role, we have already discussed them in syntax videos too, but they were discussed in regards to the tree diagram. But here they are being discussed in case of semantics. So let's click each word to find its role. Well, let me scroll a bit more. The chef cut the bread with a knife in the kitchen for guests. Or the guests. So let's look at the chef. Okay, I have to scroll more. The chef is an agent. So the agent is a participant who intentionally performs the action. So agent is someone who performs the action. Easy definition to remember. The chef chose to cut. This was a violational act. Two key tests. Can you ask what did X do? The chef cut the bread. And the second is the agent controls the action without the chef. The cutting does not happen. So to describe what is an agent, you can ask yourself this question if it happens in the manner that there is someone who's performing an action, so it's definitely an agent. Let's look at the bread. Patient. The bread is the patient, that is the entity that undergoes the action and is changed by it. The bread was not a whole loaf before the action. It was cut into pieces. Its state changed. The change of state is the diagnostic test for patients. Something is different about this entity after the event. So this shows that if someone is being affected and they're not in the same position as they were before the action, so obviously that's the patient. So let's look at the one with a knife. A knife is instrument. The instrument is an inanimate object, which means by which action is performed by the agent. The knife does not act on its own. It requires the agent to yield it. So the key test for it is you can also solve. The chef used a knife to cut. The instrument can be expressed with the use. It is a tool, not a cause. So that's how you describe instrument. It is something that is used. So next one is in the kitchen. The kitchen is the location. So the location is spatial setting where the event takes place. It anchors the action in physical space. The kitchen is not affected by the cutting. It simply provides the context. So the key test is the cutting happened in the kitchen. Location answers where the action is happening without participating in the event itself. So it's just about location. In some sentences, there would be location, like the chef cut the bread with a knife. Well, if it's just till here, then no location in it. Then let's look at the last one for the guest. The guest is the goal. The goal here is the beneficiary, the entity for whose benefit the action was performed. The guests are the intended recipients of the chef's work that did not participate in the cutting, but the event was directed towards them. So the key test is the chef cut the bread for the guests. So that's how you describe thematic role in a sentence. So let's move forward. It's part number 3, the major semantic roles. So different linguistic framework propose different set of roles, and scholar debate exact boundaries. Below are the most widely used and accepted and agreed upon roles. used graph frameworks from Fillmore's case grammar to government binding, which is GB theory, to role and reference grammar. So let's look at first one is I lost this agent, which is the doer of the action, the participant who intentionally causes or initiates the action. The agent has violation the volition. Sorry, I've pronounced it wrong. The choose to act. This is the most prototypical active role. If you remove the agent, the event does not happen. So this is example, the dog bit the man. The dog is the agent. So this is an example from Urdu too for better understanding. कुत्ते ने आदमी को काटा. So here the agent is कुत्ते. Well, let me put something down. Let me adjust this for better view. So, here. The second one is the patient, which is the affected one. These are trick words that you can use to keep in mind different semantic roles. So it is the participant who undergoes the action and is changed or affected by it. The patient is acted upon. It say changes as a result of an event, sometimes called the theme, when no change of state is involved. So the man bit the dog. The man is the patient here. She broke the vase, which is another example. So the vase here is the patient. Let's move on to the third one, which is theme, the moved or described. So the entity that moves or whose location or state is being described without necessarily undergoing a change. So the theme is distinct from patient in that no change of state is required. It is the entity in focus of the predicate. Example is she put the book on the shelf. Well, the book here is the theme. Another example is the leaf fell. The leaf here is the theme. So as the leaf fell, which here the leaf moved, making it a theme. This is the fourth one is instrument. It is removed from here, but it's alright. The tool used, the inanimate object or means that the agent used to carry out the action. The instrument is not the cause, it is the mean by which agent achieves the action. It cannot act on its own. The example is she cut the rope with scissors. So here scissors is an instrument. Another example is he opened the door with a key. So here the key is instrument. Both are inanimate. So let's look at other ones which are, let's see if I can scroll a bit more. Yeah. Location. Location is where something happens. The place where the action or state takes place. Location is spatial role. It anchors the event in physical space. It answers the question, which is where in the relation to the event described. Example is the cat slept on the mat. Well, on the mat is the location. She works in Karachi. In Karachi is location here. Next one, which is sixth semantic role or theta role, is goal, which is the destination. Let's look at it. The end point or destination of the movement or action where something or someone moves toward. Goal answers where to or for whom. It is the target state or location at the end of the event. The examples are she sent the letter to Ali. Ali is goal. The other example is he ran to the station. The station here is goal. Let's look at the seventh theta role, which is source. Source is the origin. This is the starting point of movement or change where something or someone moves away from. Source is the mirror image of goal, and together they define the two endpoints of motion event. Example is she came from Lahore. So from Lahore, this is the source. Then he took the book from the shelf. From the shelf is the source here. The next one is this is experiencer, the ER at the end. So the experiencer is the feeler, the participant who mentally or emotionally experiences a state but does not cause it. Unlike the agent, the experiencer does not act with volition. They simply feel, perceive, or know something. Example is she loves poetry, so she here is experiencer. The other example is Ali fears the dog, so Ali here is experiencer. So only two are left, which are beneficiary. So this is spelling of beneficiary as it got removed from here. So who benefits? The participant for whose benefit the action is performed. The beneficiary gains from event through they may not be directly involved in it, often associated with the verbs of giving, making, or doing for someone. Examples. First one is she baked a cake for her mother. Her mother is the beneficiary here. Another example, he bought flowers for Sarah. Sarah here is beneficiary. Let's look at the last one, theta role, which is stimulus. What causes the feeling? The entity that triggers the experience's psychological state. The stimulus is what is perceived, felt, and known. It pairs with the experiencer where there is experiencer that is usually stimulus there too. So she loves poetry. Poetry is stimulus. Ali fears the dog is stimulus here. So in this, Ali is experiencer and here she is experiencer. So this satisfies the statement that where there is experiences, there is stimulus too. Let's move forward. Well, these are the 10 theta roles. Easy to remember in mind if you keep up with the tricks in your mind. And well, this part is analyze these sentences. Click any sentence to see the participant theta roles broken down into different parts. Notice how the roles stay constant even when the syntax is changing. So let's look at it. Okay. Let's start with the first one. The thief stole the jewels from the museum. Let's click at it. It's gonna appear here. So look at here. The thief stole a jewel from the museum. Here the agent is the thief, which is performing an action. He's an actor in this. The one who steals. So the theme is the jewels, the entity that moves on which the action is being performed. And sourced from the museum, the starting point of the theft from where the action starts. So source is the origin of movement. These are the thematic roles in this sentence. Not all sentences have all the theta roles. It depends upon which sentence deals with theta roles. Next one is Sarah sent a letter to her friend in London. So let's look at its theta role. Agent is Sarah, the one who's performing the action. Theme is the letter on which the action is being performed. Theme is the thing in motion. Goal is to her friend, the endpoint recipient of the transfer. And location in London. She sent letter to her friend in London. Let's look at the other example. A child broke the window with a ball. Okay. Well, agent here is the child. Patient is the window, the entity that is affected on. The instrument through which the window is broken. So it is the ball that is used to perform the action. So that's how you decide the thematic role. So we'll look at these are, you can just do the analysis and type in comments that what is your opinion upon these two, theta or semantic or thematic roles. So let's look at this one. This is the active voice and this is the passive voice. So we'll look at what if the theta role the same or they got to be different. The jewels were stolen from the museum by the thief. So again, who's the performing the action? So the thief is the performing one that performs action. So obviously that's going to be the agent. Well, what is being affected? The jewels are the one that are being affected as the location change. Sorry. So theme is the jewels. So from where it's stolen? From the museum. So that is the source. So obviously, even if you change the syntax, thematic role still is the same. Let's move forward to the next part, which is roles stay, syntax changes. So we're going to discuss in more detail as we have just touched the above. So this is the most important thing to understand about semantic role. They're independent of syntax. You can shuffle the grammar of the sentence completely, active voice, passive, different word order, and the semantic role stays exactly the same. The image is the same, the participants are the same, only the package changing. So the first example, the dog bit the man, and the man was bitten by the dog. Well, who's doing the action? Obviously dog here. So that's the agent, and who's being affected? So, well, the man, so that's the patient. So in this example, the dog is the subject while the man is the object. So syntactic change, but not semantic change. In this example, again, same goes. The dog is the agent while the man is someone being affected, so it's a patient. In passive voice, the man is the subject, the dog is the object. Syntax change, semantics remains the same. Another example is she gave Ali the book. She gave the book to Ali. So here, word shuffling. So who gave the book? She. So agent. She's the one who's doing the action. Who gave to whom? Ali. So Ali is the goal. What is being given on what is being action is performed. That is the book. So this shows the double object construction. Ali is the indirect object syntactically, but semantically the goal of the transfer. Another example is she gave the book to Ali. Here again, she is the agent, the book is the theme, and Ali is the goal. So prepositional dative construction, book moved to direct object position, but semantic is still the theme. Ali is still the goal, roles are still stable. So even if there's word shuffling, roles didn't change. So this shows that semantic is independent of syntax. Let's look at another example, semantic roles in Urdu. Urdu marks the semantic roles partially through case suffixes. The ne postposition famously marks the agent in ergative construction, while go can mark patient, goal, or experience. So this makes Urdu a rich language for studying how semantic roles surface in grammar. Let's look at the example to understand it better. First one is Ahmad ne kitab padhi. So in English translation is Ahmad read the book. Here the agent is Ahmad ne. Ahmad is the one that is doing the action, and what is being affected? Kitab. So here the kitab is the theme, which is the thing being read. The post position ne is the ergative case marker in Urdu. It marks the agent of the transitive verb in the perfective aspect. The theme remains unmarked, which is kitab. It is the entity whose location or state is described by the reading. So let's move forward. फरीदा को नज़्में पसंद हैं. So this is the English translation. Frida likes poetry. So Frida is the experiencer here. She's experiencing something, and what is liked here, what is the stimulus, it is nazme. So in psychological predicates, Urdu uses ko to mark the experiencer, like mentioned here, ko. The person having the feeling. Notice Farida is not an agent here. She is not doing anything. She is experiencing a state. The same postposition ko marks goal in other construction, showing that one morpheme can map to different roles. The next example is बच्चे ने कलम से किताब पर लिखा. English translation is the child wrote on the book with a pen. So किसने लिखा? बच्चे ने. She's the one doing the action. So it's agent. And किससे लिखा? कलम से. The कलम is an instrument. So किस पर लिखा? किताब पर. किताब is the location. So 3 semantic roles in one sentence, each marked by a different postposition. Agent, with agent it's ne, this one. And for instrument is se, kalam se. And for location it's par. Par. Urdu postpositions are essentially role-making devices. They make the semantic structure of the sentence directly visible on the surface. So here it shows the postposition, like in English it's prepositions, in Urdu it's postposition. So postposition play a major role in describing and naming the thematic roles, which are also semantic roles and theta roles. Saying it again for you as a reminder. So let's move forward to the part 7, which is semantic role real world impact. So what's the impact of it? So the first one is AI and natural language processing. So semantic role labeling, which is SRL, is the core NLP task, which machines must identify who does what to whom in any sentence. Every AI system, search engine and translation system depend on correctly assigning semantic role. It is foundational to language understanding in AI. This tells about the importance of theta rules in AI and natural language processing. So the second one is legal and forensic language. Legal language carefully manipulates semantic roles to assign or evade responsibility. For example, the gun discharged. Hire the agent entirely. Another example, mistakes were made. Well, it erases the agent that he's making the mistake. Forensic linguists analyze role assignment to establish accountability in court document and official reports. Another place where semantic roles are important is in media and critical discourse. So police shot protesters versus protesters were shot. Same event, same roles, but one foregrounds the agent which is police, the other erases it. Role assignment in headlines shapes how readers understand responsibility and power, while media literacy requires understanding these thematic roles. It's important to share that why some roles are intentionally hidden and why some roles are intentionally highlighted. And the next one is cross-linguistic structure, which is different languages map semantic roles to sentence differently. English is nominative, accusative, which is agent, is equal to subject. Urdu or Hindi is ergative, absolutive in some aspect. Agent is marked, patient is subject. Understanding roles helps explain why translation is not word for word substitution. So this shows the importance of semantic roles in different fields. The same event can be described with the agent foregrounded, backgrounded, or erased entirely, and every choice is a political and ideological act where the speaker knows it or not. Adapted from Fowler's work, which is language in the news, discourse, and ideology in the press. So let's come into the knowledge check part, which is keys, consisting of everything from this episode. As a crux, let's look at the first one. What is the semantic thematic role? The grammar function, well, we're not discussing grammar, so it is out of the box. The binary features set, well, the code of semantic features, so this is out of the box. The emotional connotation, well, we're not discussing connotation or denotation, so it is out too. Second option is the semantic relationship between the verb and participants, describing what role the participant play in the event. Well, that's correct one. So, because semantic role depends upon the relationship with verbs and its argument, the basic important part is the verb. Moving on to the next one. In The Dog Bit the Man, what is the semantic role of the man? The dog bit the man. Theme, agent. Agent is the doer, experiencer is the one who experiences something. Theme is being acted upon. Patient, the entity that undergoes the action and is affected by it. Well, that's correct, as the man is being bitten, so he's being a patient here. Moving on to the next one. The man was bitten by the dog compared to the dog bit the man. What is true? Semantic role have reversed. The man is now an agent. The syntax change is passive voice, but the semantic voice stay exactly the same. The dog is still the agent, the man is still the patient. The meaning of the sentence, well, we're not discussing here the meaning change or not. The dog now has the experiencer role. Well, the second option is to, as we have said, that syntax will be changing, but semantic role will be staying exactly the same. So it's correct. Moving on to the next one. In Frida Likes Poetry, what is Frida ko nazme pasand hai? What is Frida's semantic role? And why is it not the agent? It is in the grammatical subject patient, she is being affected by poetry. Experience theme, she is the entity being described, while the third one seems most close, which is experience, she is undergoing a mental emotional state liking without intentional action or volition. Well, that's correct, as Frida is the experiencer. She experiences the feeling of liking something. So let's move on to the next one, which is mistakes were made is famous for being political evasive. Which semantic role does it hide? Patient, instrument, experiencer, or the agent, which is option number 2. The agent, the passive construction, remove the person responsible for making the mistake. Well, the answer is in it, say it's correct. Mistakes were made This famous example, which is in which a well-documented strategy is used in political and bureaucratic language, passive construction can hold responsibility by omitting the agent. So forensic linguists call this agent deletion. Let's move on to the last one, which is who developed the systematic study of semantic roles in the 1968 paper, A Case for Case. Noam Chomsky, Gottlob Frege, Geoffrey Leach, or the fourth option, Charles Fillmore. His case grammar framework gave semantics a systematic account for participant. All the answer is right here in front of us. So his work was the foundational work which led the base of thematic and semantic roles. So these are the MCQs. So this is it for today. I hope you understand it, as semantic roles are a very important part of semantics, not only just of semantic but syntax too, because when you're talking about export tree diagram structure, you have to know theta roles to make up the proper and accurate tree diagram. So that's it for today. I hope you understand it. Please do like, subscribe and share, and do comment. I'm mentioning it again that it's important for YouTube algorithm. That's it for today. Have a good day.